It's Monday, the 12th of April 2021. Welcome to the week's premiere edition of the Good Morning Africa, right here on Africa TV and wherever you are. Once again, thank you very much for joining us. We are very much happy to be back again to start another week with you and, of course, to bring you some very interesting things to report on matters happening in the country and beyond. So wherever you are, we say good morning or good afternoon if you like, and thank you very much for joining us. And yeah, of course, this morning, like I said, we have some very interesting matters to discuss. We will, of course, discuss about some election or political matters this morning. Of course, we will also, like I said, talk on election matters this morning, and probably it's the eve of Ramadan, maybe in this country. So the Gambia Supreme Islamic Council have issued a statement yesterday with regards to the sighting of the month, and we will, of course, discuss about those. We'll give you, details of the council statement on that. So that and more coming ahead, and we have a guest also this morning. So you stick around for that. It's going to be another very interesting Monday morning from our studios in Banjul. Once again, wherever you are, thank you very much for your loyal support, and as always for being there when we're here this morning to take you through in another very interesting and informative edition of the same program you call, or we call, the Good Morning Africa edition. mbokk yi ñu ngi leen di nuyu beneen yoon fii ci Africa TV ñu maan mbégte dellusiwaati suba si la comme ni ñu koy defee saa su ne bu waxtu bi jotee xam ngeen ne mbégte lay doon saa su ne ñu ànd ak yéen ci li nga xamante ne mooy ci jotaay bi ñu ngi leen di nuyu di leen ziar nag fi ngeen mënta nekk ci biir réew mi ba ci biti réew ñu ngi leen di jaajëfal bu baax a baax tey ñu dikkaat ci beneen week ñu balaa buñ gannaaw bi nga xamante ne jógee nañ ci weekend bi ñu war a door week bi ak yéen ci loolu ñu fas yéene waxtaan ponk yu am solo waaye tamit digtal leen suñuy xibaar dina ci bokk. Xam ngeen ne amaana tey la ñoo séentu weeri koor gi ci réew mi su ko defee wala fu ne ci aduna si ñii di ñu yore wàllu diine ji ci réew mi di Gambia Supreme Islamic Council dañ dal di génnee bataaxal ni ki démbali aju ci wàllu lu boobu nañ leen ko yaatalal ci bataaxal bi la leen ci wax ci ni ñoo séentoo weer gi ci biir weer bi ci biir réew mi. Leneen liñ cee toftal nañ wax ci wàllum élection, ay politique, ay mbiram, ay si tamit bokk nañ ci loolu yëpp ci waxtaan yi lay bokk. Nañ ci am suñu gan ñu waxtaan ak moom ci li gën a fees ci réew mi ak tamit tolluwaay gi ndax saa su ne loolu day am solo ñu def ci taxaw seetlu bu baax a baax ndax xam ngeen ne at mi moom at bu am solo ndax atum politique la, atum élection la ak yu mel noonu foog ñu def ci waxtaan yu am solo. su ko defee jàppale ne ponk yaa ngi noonu ci jotaay bi su ko defee foos gannaaw bu ñu leen nuyoo jaajëfal leen bu baax ci safo bi ak ci kóolute bi su ko defee ñu dugga ak yéen si suñ force report bi wax naa ko ñu dooree ko ak wàllu Supreme Islamic Council mooy li aju ci wàllum weeri koor bi niñ ko war a sento. Well, we would start with matters of the sighting of the moon. Like I said, the Supreme Islamic Council issued a statement yesterday. Now, the Gambia Supreme Islamic Council has urged Muslims to carefully sight the crescent beginning Monday, that's today, to determine the start of the month of fasting. Now, in a statement released on Sunday, the council reminded all Muslims in the Gambia that the sighting of the crescent moon of Ramadan will be on Monday, the 12th of April 2021. The Islamic governing body further urged the public to the council or its regional representatives any information about the new crescent. Now, the move by the council is expected to minimize the differences among Muslims in the country as to the right date to start the month of Ramadan. Well, Ramadan is the 9th month of the Islamic calendar observed by Muslims worldwide as one of the 5 pillars of Islam. Fasting from sunrise to sunset, which is obligatory to all adult Muslims, will last for 29 or 30 days from the sighting of the crescent moon. So that ends the statement from the Supreme Islamic Council. Yes, a very important reminder there from the council to all Muslims in the country with regards to the sighting of the moon. So today is the fourth day, and so beginning Monday, and that is today, of course, that all Muslims are urged to gave any information regarding the sighting of the crescent. Of course, that's the moon. So I hope anyone who have any relevant information later in the evening today could contact the Supreme Islamic Council or their regional representative, so that there would be consensus as to how we would all start the fasting of the month in these years in the country, inshallah. su ko defee rek comme ni ngeen ko gisee ci bataaxal boobu Supreme Islamic Council ñoom ñi nga xamante ne ñoom ñoo yore wàllum diine ji ci biir réew mi ñu génnee bataaxal ni ki démba pour wane daal ni ki tey lañ war a sentu bu njëkk ci weer bi ci réew mi si loolu nag ñu ngi dal di ñaax ñëpp ci réew mi jullit yi pour ñu bàyyi ci xel xibaar buñ mënta am li aju ci wàllu weer bi ñu mun leen koo yeggee ñoom Supreme Islamic Council wala seen banqaas yi nekk ci gox yi ak gox-goxaat yi ci réew mi pour daal ñu tasaare ko ci nu mu waree ci réew mi ndax tey mooy sentu bu njëkk ci nuñ ko waxee inshallah ci biir réew mi ñëpp bàyyi ci xel su ko defee ñu ndokkale ñëpp wis ñëpp tamit happy Ramadan in advance comme ni nga ko waxee woon am naa ñëpp ñu ngi ko séntu bu baax baax ñu ñaan yàlla rek ñu dooree ko ci bismillah waaye tamit jeexal ko ci alhamdulillah ci inshallah ci ni nga ko séntoo ci réew mi waaye tamit fu ne ci àdduna bi ndax ponk bi am solo la ci diine comme ni nga ko waxee noonu ci of course ci report boobu wala ci statement bi nga xamante ne jógee ko nag ci Gambia Supreme Islamic Council. Now gannaaw loolu ñu wéy wax ci leneen. Of course we'll move on to our next story. Like I said, we will now report on of course, the Independent Electoral Commission, because as the Gambia's presidential election is fast approaching, the Independent Electoral Commission is busy strengthening its infrastructural facilities in the regions. The electoral body inaugurated a fully refurbished Brickham regional office and now presents the election house in the North Bank region in its newest shape. Mariama Cham has more details of that in this report.
The upgrading of electoral offices in different parts of the country is one of the aspects demonstrating IEC's motion towards its busiest period in operation. The administration of election contests from at least 17 different political groups in the December 2021 will require the electoral body to do more than just office refurbishment as far as the conduct of a free, fair and transparent election is a public demand. However, the chairman of the Independent Electoral Commission considered the innovation of the Karawan office in the North Bank region as a prerequisite to the conduct of elections.
The conditions of some of the regional offices had been a matter of great concern to the Commission. Most of the IEC regional offices lacked adequate office space and storage facilities. The conditions of some of the IEC regional offices were left to be desired. It was in this light of these challenges that the UNDP conducted a needs assessment to look into the possible areas of intervention. It was gratifying to note that the issue of regional offices and office furniture and equipment were key on the issues of concern.
The renovation project was fully funded by the United Nations Development Programme under the election project of 2020-2021. Yesterday, the country director of UNDP explained her office's commitment to strengthening the country's electoral body.
The electoral assistance that we are starting is to cover the whole electoral cycle at technical level, working closely with the Independent Electoral Commission. And when you work with an Independent Electoral Commission, as you rightly said, it's important to also look at the conducive environment for the agents who are working, for them to deliver the technical work that is required throughout the process. So it's in this regard that when we did the assessment with the Independent Electoral Commission, we said that while the Commission is, of course, responsible of the whole process, one of the areas where we can support them is to speed up the rehabilitation of the regional electoral commissions that were in a very, very bad shape.
The UNDP Electoral Support Project has already delivered a magnificent assortment of furniture and office equipment to the newly refurbished offices, including the Brikama Regional Office in the West Coast region. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Mariama Cham.
All right, the preparations continues as Gambia heads into, of course, December presidential election. So the IEC also is refurbishing its regional offices or bureaus, as you know, Gambia's all Gambians are looking forward to the month. So every institution or department or stakeholder that is responsible or should play a part in the elections, which have already started doing something. So in all sectors, or should I say all sectors or all parties that are involved in the elections are doing their bit or doing their quota to make sure that Gambia would, of course, organize what I believe would be a very fair and transparent elections. And the IEC, of course, plays an integral part in that process. They are the regulatory, of course, they are the regulatory body, but also they are the referee in this case. So they are refurbishing their offices, their regional offices, to make sure those that work in those offices there would also work in a very conducive environment ahead of the election. So that's quite very, very important. So go defee rek kon ni ngeen ko gisee noonu ci report bi ici ñoom tamit ñu ngi waajal élection si bu baax comme ñeneen ñu nga xamante ne ñu ngi ci lang gi ñu ngi ci yëf yi bokk ci pour ñu am élection yu am solo élection yi nga xamante ne dañ koo teg ci yoon mu nekk li nga xamante ne mooy lu dal tamit ci réew mi ci loolu ñoom ñu ngi defaraat si yenn maakaan yu nekk ci gox yi ak gox-goxaat yi mooy si région si loolu mu nekk lu am solo parce que tamit noonu la war a mun a demee ndax ñoom ñooy saytu wàllum élection yi ñoom ñooy referee ñoom ñooy digal wala dicté li nga xamante ne mooy yëf yi nu moo demee su ko defee dana am solo ñoom ñu ne seen nekkin mu nekk nekkin bu am solo xel yi mun a dal ñu seen liggéeykat yi tamit ñu liggéey ci anam yi nga xamante ne nekk anam yu am solo ndax xam ngeen ne li ñuy waajal ci réew mi dafa am solo te ñëpp wala ñu gën a bari ci réew mi am nañ ci yitte bu baax a baax pour daal ñu am li nga xamante ne mooy élection yu dal waaye tamit yu jaar yoon ci niñ ko ñëpp sàkkoo incha allah ci biir réew mi su ko defee gannaaw loolu ba léegi ñu wéy ak yéen fàttali rek ne na ngi ànd ak ñun di Africa TV seen Good Morning Africa programme bi ci suba sile ñu wax ci leneen ñu utali Rwanda gannaaw bi nga xamante ne fan yi nii xam ngeen ne ñu ngi fàttale ko li nga xamante ne jéey bu fa amoon ci réew mi ci ay ñaari fukki at ak lu teg mu nekk nag li nga xamante ne mooy lu doyen waar waaye wax naa ko keroog depuis boobu ba léegi at bu nekk ñu fàttali ko ñaaxaar seen bopp dafa mel ni am na liñ ci jàngee ba tax te Rwanda ku wax development ci Africa foog nga tudde réew mi loolu mu nekk lu am solo. We'll move on to our next story now and report on something different. I move away from the source of the country and head to Rwanda, where about 1 million people, mostly of the Tutsi community and the moderate Hutus, were killed in the genocide during a massacre within a span of 100 days. A survivor of the Rwanda genocide shares memory of her tales relating to rape and unwanted pregnancy. Her 27-year-old son observed that his mother was always bitter anytime he asked for the identity of his father. These kinds of stories are the ones for which Rwanda holds commemoration and mourning their loved ones within this year, marking the 27th anniversary of the deadly incident. Here's more details of that in this report.
The names of the characters in this report have been altered to protect their identities. When I remember that no one is left on both my mother and father's sides, I feel so much pain and sorrow. She says those who killed her family also raped her when she was 25 years old, at that time during the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, and later found out she was pregnant. We were raped. There was no one to call on for help. I discovered later that I was pregnant and I couldn't tell who the father was. When the time came, I gave birth. This woman, who is now visually impaired, says during the first years she didn't love her child. This is something her child affirms as well. I never played with my child like normally parents would play with their babies. Never did I feel that way in my heart. Her child, whom we named Kazungu, is now almost graduating at 27 years of age. He says his mother's hatred was due to the way he was conceived, and it was obvious to him. He says he was often lied to by his mother each time he asked her about his origin. Each time I asked her who my father was, she would tell a name of my uncle, to a point when I had to fill in school forms in primary. On the part where I had to write my father's name, she would come up with different names every term, and I finished primary with about 12 different names of my father. He says he finally got to know about his origin after his mother told him. His mother says she is proud of what her son has achieved so far, despite the upbringing amidst difficult times. One of my achievements is being an excellent student in school, because if I'd focused on my background, then it would have distorted me, since I don't have a father to do or to say anything to me in case I perform poorly. This also happened to one Diana and her mother, who says she was also raped multiple times during the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. She explained how she later discovered that she was pregnant. That family was full of Interahamwe from the first to the last born. They were all educated and well known up to this moment, if I could mention their names. From them, that's why I had whispers that I'm pregnant. I realized it later on. The thing all these children have in common is the pain of constantly being lied to by their parents about their origin at an early age. As we know, when a child starts school, he or she is often asked about his or her parents or where they come from. During all that time, my mom had never told me anything of that. As I continued to grow up, I kept on asking her who my father was, and she kept on telling me that she shall tell me someday. As I kept insisting, she told me that my grandfather's name. Although after the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, their parents and the rest of the family members didn't love them, after they healed from the traumas, they began to be grateful they're alive and proud of what they had become. A coordinator of Sevota, Godeliva Mukasarasi, one of the organizations that were established shortly after the genocide against the Tutsi with the purpose to care for the genocide survivors, says that women who suffer from such trauma are treated and they do heal from it. We are happy to see them recover from their traumas, although they never go away completely, but they manage to control them. As they live well with the society and their relationship with their children also keeps getting better. They've also managed to contribute to the development of the country without constantly suffering from mental or other diseases like before, and they are now involved in many sectors. The Sevotha organization has managed to treat over 400 women with such traumas, with 100 still recovering. Experts in the history of genocide say that rape is one of the most powerful weapons which were used during the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, and that those who were victims of rape require to be treated with greater discretion.
Of course, a Rwandan genocide survivor there sees her ordeal 27 years on. Of course, a very sad and story there. Yeah, but then 27 years on, Rwanda has been a different country, like I said. They have moved on, of course, and reconciled as a country, and worked so hard to develop their country to a level where every country in the continent would look at Rwanda as an example or as a reference to what they should also, or the country should work on to develop their own. I think it has been a remarkable journey for Rwanda, looking at where they have come from to where they are as we speak. Su ko defee mbokk yi comme ni ngeen ko gisee noonu Rwanda loolu xew-xew bu xewoon ci réew mi mu nekkoon lu doy waar kon ni ma ko waxee waaye depuis boobu ñoom dañ move on dañ of course jàppante dimbalante ba taxaw am taxawaay bu am solo ba tax ne tey réew mi kuy wax ci Afrique ci wàllu développement foog nga joxoñ Rwanda jël leen as exemple loolu nag am na li mu wone am na lim firndeel gannaaw lu fa xewoon dañ ñëw boolowaat taxaw gis réew mi def ci liggéey bu am solo loolu nag foog naa ne yeneen réew yu bëri mun nañ cee jàngee comme ñu jiiti réew yi sax léegoo-léeg dañ ci dee jëlee ay exemple mu nekk li nga xamante ne mooy lu mat a bàyyi xel la gannaaw loolu nag ñu wéy ñëwaat ci réew mi gannaaw buñ jógee ko ci lu xew Rwanda ñu dellusiwaat ci biir réew mi wax ci leneen wax ba léegi ci wàllum waajtaay élection bi wax ci politique loolu yëpp ci la bokk ndax ren moom loolu moom jàpp leen dina bokk ci lu gën a bëri li ñuy waxtaanee ci suñu ay jotaay ak tamit leen feneen ci réew mi inshallah. We will move on again to our next story and report on election matters because ahead of the December presidential elections, political parties under the auspices of the Inter-Party Committee on Saturday launched youth branch of the committee. The initiative is meant to bring together young political leaders to promote dialogue and joint solutions to challenges confronting the younger ones in political participation. Fatma Kasim tells us more of that in this report.
As a forum for political leaders in the promotion of level playing ground for multiple party system, the Inter-Party Committee IPC deemed it fit to incorporate the youth department to support the general idea. Co-chairman of the Inter-Party Committee, Halifa Saleh, said the objective of the institution was to give the young people a start. The signing of the Inter-Party Declaration, he said, allowed the younger generation to take charge of their destiny so that nobody will be able to drag them backward unless they decide to keep themselves where they are. He said this development did not come about merely by generosity of political leaders.
The declaration of the Inter-Party Committee on the establishment of the youth branch of the IPC is not a generous decision by the political parties. It is byproduct of a demand by the young people to be involved, to be seen, to be heard, and to be included. It came in many ways until we discovered that many institutions wanted to engage the young people but did not know how. And they decided to go ahead and do it their own way. This created a lot of obstacles. But then, when the IPC was approached, we waited for a while to do the brain work. Ultimately, the IPC saw that this was an idea whose time has come.
Abdul Wahab, the UNDP representative, observed that the formation of the non-partisan Inter-Party Committee was timely as the country is moving closer towards elections.
The formation of a non-partisan Inter-Party Youth Committee is timely and comes at a moment where the country is moving closer to the December 21st presidential election and the April 2022 parliament elections. The participation of young people in the elections, and intervention for promoting inter-party dialogue and mediation is an integral part of inclusive and peaceful election. This makes the existence of IPYC fundamentally important for the country.
Jahadukure, a youth representative to the event, pledged commitment to work with young people even outside the boardroom to ensure that their differences does not matter in the face of national interests.
As political parties, we are the custodians of democracy, and it is important that we put a united front and a country-first mentality when it comes to ensuring a free and fair election process. As the youth representative of DOI, I pledge to work with other young people and young people across the country to ensure that we are able to campaign freely, respectfully, and peacefully throughout the election process. I will work with young people in this room and outside of this room to ensure that we remember, despite our differences, we are all Gambian. I will support my party in ensuring that young people are included in every aspect of decision making and that young people are not tokenized just for political gains. I will also work with my political party to ensure that we are creating an environment that allows young people to thrive and participate.
In the post-2017 political transition period, political parties played a key role in the consolidation of democracy and sentence of peace in the Gambia. In fact, more is expected of them in promoting dialogue on contentious national issues such as the new draft constitution and the looming electoral bill. For iAfrica News, I am Fatoumata Kassim.
Dialogue is very important and it's very crucial for New Watan because we are getting into a very, very important and a very significant moment for this country. And, you know, when you talk about elections, sometimes, you know, anything could happen. It stands, whatever, there could be anything. And if we discuss as a country, involve the young people in particular, I think that's very important. And the political parties, that's the inter-party committee, inaugurate or launch a youth committee ahead of the December presidential elections. So young people from all political parties were together over the weekend to discuss and, you know, dialogue among themselves as to what they should contribute and the role they should play to make sure that there will be peace, there will be, you know, all the stability, to make sure that we'll have a very well organized and transparent, you know, young Afghan and representative elections where youths are very much involved in the process as well. That's very important. And su ko defee rek loolu kon ni ma ko waxee dafa am solo bu baax pour ñu waxtaanee ko am nag mbégte lool, very much happy. Of course, one of the young people who were part of the discussion is with us in these parties, in the program rather, so we can discuss about more of what has been discussed and the importance and all that. And of course, we'll also talk about other issues happening in the country. And of course, you know, the party also is representing as well, because finally the wait is over. The flag bearer of the party is none. So we'll also discuss about that and maybe and a whole lot of things, time permitting, inshallah. Nyawuru Kama of the United Democratic Party, he's the youth president of the party's regional KMC, of course. So Nyawuru ñu am mbégte once again dalal la ci programme bi ñu waxtaan li nga xamante ne mooy lañ gis ci report bi ak yeneen ci réew mi. As always, it's a pleasure to have you in our studios. First ñu bàyyi la nga nuyoo ñi nga xamante ne ñu ngi seetaan right now, xam naa gars yi nama nañ la nag.
jërëjëf Amadou, maa ngi nuyu ñëpp seen tur seen sant ñuy seetaan programme bi. Human diaspora yëpp maa ngi nuyu techniciens ya caméramen yu nekk si gannaaw programme bi.
jërëjëf
di leen wax ne saa yu nekk suñ fi ñëwee rek dañ dee ñëw fii pour waxtaana askan wi lu yóbbu réew mi ci kanam. fasuñ see melloo kenn jóguñ pour tàggat kenn luy dëgg bi rek jaar si àll kala bi ba pare maa ngi wis di entire Gambia. Ramadan Mubarak in advance, because from Nekani we are at the tail end, the genocide where fal ñëpp di wax gaay jaane kundaay nag ñu moytu weeri koor bi ñëw na de yëfi lekka yu bëri yi nii moom jeex na nañ see góorgóorlu di fas coom rek
inshallah
jërë ngeen jëf.
Thank you. yaa ngi tooñ ci noonu man tamit joolaa yi ak séeréer yi ñu bàyyi seen xel anyway ci weeri koor bi comme ni nga ko yow tamit ñu wis la happy Ramadan in advance ci turu ñuy seetaan yëpp ak ci waa kër gi inshallah ñu kontaan ci yow bu baax ci ni nga teewee ci jotaay bi. Well of course bëggoon naa ñu dooreek sax ci tolluwaay réew mi surtout ci wàllum you know, situation be security and other things, but hence you were at this event. Let's start with this one. Waxtaan dialogue is very important, and you were one of the participants ci meeting bi. ñu gis ne parti yi ñoo njëkk a booloo political parties yi yàgg nañoo waxtaan ñoom seen biir ba tey ñu gis ne dugal nañ ci ndaw yi, and you are one of the young people representing your party, that's the UDP, United Democratic Party. Ban essence ban njëriñ la mun a jàpp ci ndaje bi nga xamante ne fekkee nga ko wax nañ dañ bëgg because ñu ngi waajal elections te loolu ndaw yi dañ ci am solo léegi-léegi seen taxawaay ñu bari dañ ci xala tiit ci surtout ku ne am na fi nga fare ak yu mel noonu lan lañ mun a jàpp ci ndaje bi nga xamante ne fekkoon nga ko te tamit nga jëloon ci kàddu sax ci ndaje boobu.
jërëjëf Amadou Interparty Committee Youth Committee ñu ngi ko Youth Interparty Committee ñu ngi ko Yobik. The youth branch of the Interparty Committee Yobik. dafa nekk initiative boo xam ne di Interparty ñoo toog xalaat ko seegaat ko pour isi foster unity amongst political parties. Especially youth are 64% or 64% of the population are youth. So basically téeméer boo gis rek juróom benn fukk ak ñeneen yëpp ñu ne ndaw lañ. soo ñëwee seet catégorie boobu Gambia United Nations dañ categorize ndaw from the age of 15 years ba 24. waaye in the Gambia here as a government policy ñu ne 15 to 35 years. da ngaa gis ne ñu bëri si at boobu diggante boobu lañ ne. so te politics du dee dem anywhere election du dee am fekk ndaw yi bokkul. te problème yi nga dégg si politique yëpp ndaw yi la. wax yi nga dégg si politique yëpp ndaw yi la. ñooy voice bi ñooy face bi. ñooy image yi political parties. so pour isi ndaw yooyu together ñu am a non-partisan group. because with this Yobik all political parties are represented. But the facet and in the manner in which Yobik will work is non-partisan. Because we are not going there pour ku nekk sa political interest. dañoo seet luy interest yi réew mi ñun ndaw yi ñu toog ñu waxtaan. in the electoral cycle or in the election cycle. ñu bañ a am i gàllankoor ak i teexa suñ diggante ñu ni neen. ko ku nekk da nga fa am political party bi nga represent. te yow xam nga ne ndaw yi ñooy doole bi. soo bokkee si groupe boobu noonu luñ fa waxtaanee soo ko yóbbee sa parent comme political party. foog naa ne election bi dina doon si jaama si dal. ak si respectante.
kon mën nañoo jàpp ne the timing is perfect baax na surtout ci ñu ngi dem si election bi comme ni nga ko waxee of course the Interparty Committee yàgg nañ ci te dafa taxaw rek pour boole parti si waaye in this case dugal si ndaw yi te ñu ngi ay weer rek moo ci des balaa ñoo dugal election bi ndax jàpp nañ ne waxtu bu ñu ko def tamit kon amaana waxtu bu am solo la. am na solo trop because di nga ndaw yi si luñ bokka soo leen joxee seen waala. ñu gis si seen boppa daf dee yomba pour liggéeyaa ñoom. Interparty bi yàgg na. te looloo tax déclaration buñ discuss fii. ak commitment bi all party leaders will sign that ne they are committed to the Yobik branch of the IPC. looloo tax all the party leaders were there. Some are represented by people. but you see commitment it was 17 political parties. but in attendance we have about 14 political parties. So the others were not available due to reasons best known to them. But at least we have like a mokum that is like 95% of the expected turnout. We are there. So there are certain things we discussed. And as per discussion, I came forth, advised the youths. Importance. It's not only go and attend meetings. Apply in the real electoral cycle. Let us not allow to be used as instruments of oppressions, instrument of oppression, psychophancy, self-perpetuation, or what they call in the conflict cycle, firewood. Firewood, indeed.
We are, because the youth are very hot at times, youth exuberance, they want too much. There is that tendency of everybody meeting. They
always they are at the forefront.
They are at the forefront. So, my advice and you should, let no political leader use youths for your own political interest, self-serving political interest, without thinking about the country first. Let you bring the country's agenda and the country's interest first. That is peace. The maintaining of peace is far more than conflict resolution. When you maintain peace, it is an invaluable asset to the nation. That is far better than we have conflict and you're thinking of conflict resolution. So that's why in the conflict cycle, there is something called gathering firewood. And the youths are within that place. Because if problems come, they hip hop together and the youth are involved. Nothing is said about it and the youth don't discuss it. dafa mel ni comme safara bi nga bëgg a bil yaa ngi xamba mata
dafa xamba te loolu dafa interesting ba pare wax nga lu am solo parce que léegi tamit in most cases dañ la dee wax ne political parties yi lu ñu dee def of course ndaw yi la ñoo yaakaar te ñoom la ñoo use ci political time bi te li ci gën a bëri surtout ci Gambia fii luñ dee jël delloo ndaw yi luñ moom seen àq dafa xala des ci kéeg bi te foog naa loolu tamit xaw ma ndax sóoraale ngeen ko.
man wax naa ko si suma wax
ci waxtaan bi waaw
si wax bi.
waaw
ma ne if they say we are 64% of the population, so the greater chunk of whatever comes to the country should come to the youth. It is not just youth, and will be used.
Yes.
When we should expect things that we should get as per creed. And lolo so then down. That concept of not too young to run. Manela man santana yala mangenya. Political leader, if you talk, let them emulate that of the UDP stance, because just from all our multifaceted electoral cycles, councillor, deputy, and chairpersons. So whole age 15 to 35, we selected more youth than any other political party. If you go to the National Assembly, you find out that majority of our National Assembly members are youth. So that concept of not too young to run, after the 2016 presidential election, we bought into that and we gave that opportunity to the youth. So that should be a continuous thing. When they say youth, they should be involved in all decision making in all political parties and political structures.
With the launch of this youth committee, it will make a difference moving ahead, especially we are getting into the election. Probably that will remind the political leaders, this will come into their minds. And they are with us and they are watching and they want things to change.
Definitely.
Do you think this
Definitely,
will...
I think it will work. Because one thing I have seen there during that day, many of us in the political arena, especially youth, we can meet, but we don't see eye to eye. We don't even exchange pleasantries because of whatever the political beliefs or the guy you believe in. Like when you see Nyaur on social media, you don't know me very well, close and tight. You think that I'm somebody very impossible. So with that forum, you've seen that this guy is so friendly. He's a good guy. It's just that when I'm supporting a political party, I believe in the ideals and in the doctrine of my political party. I will tend to make people understand in what I believe in. It doesn't mean that I'm irrational or I'm not sensible enough or I cannot say. So with the initiation of this and the inaugural meeting we had at the Kairaba Jama Hall, it is a right step in the right direction, because the youth were changing ideas. Even the biggest rivals were exchanging ideas. Because you will not have any other reason not to exchange ideas with somebody you want to at least dethrone.
I know.
Because at the end of the day, it is the Gambia. Nobody will say, I want to be president and I'll turn this Gambia into hell.
No,
or at least I'm here to create chaos or create a chaotic environment. Everybody will say, I come here to develop this country, to maintain peace and stability, to create that atmosphere of peace, freedom,
better development for Gambians.
So at the end of the day, nobody will come here and you want to mess this country up. So, but in the manner in which we want to do it is different. And the commitment and the integrity and like the vision, that is what is different. But at the end of the day, everybody say, I want to take Gambia to another step.
Important, great message there. And I think, you know, we all take cognition of that going into election, especially ndaw yi nak te lolou dafa am solo. Benen bi tamit moy sax fokk ñu laal ci moy in most cases also, if we are getting election, if there are issues or tensions, young people, like I said, they're always on the forefront. But guy leen la wax ne li gëna bari political parties yi ñom seen leaders yi seen doom yi duñ ci dé bokka, seen relatives ci mbokk yi, so most of the time leen di jël ñu fataleen yeneen ndaw yi la ñoo jël ñu use leen. So it's high time ñu bàyyi xel loolu tamit. Moo tax it's important ñu indi ndaw yi tamit xamal leen wàññi tension bi, xam ne you know lu xew rek foog ñu waxtaanee ko. Ñaawru loolu foofu naa tamit loolu is very important pour ñu wax ci loolu balaa ñu move on to another issue bu ñu bëgg a waxtaanee. ñu bari tamit dañoo wax gis-gis boobu lañ ama xaw ma ndax yow you agree to that or yow am nga beneen gis-gis.
Man, I don't agree to that. Loolu tax man dama dee wax ne luñ def rek it's like we lead others follow. ñun UDP suñ political party leader bi mooy lawyer Ousainou Darboe. In any political meeting or gathering that we do, they are at the forefront, especially Fenda and Ndugusin Darboe. Jarbata mi Mariama ak ñom Tida Touré ñoo xamne moy sen yaay ñoo bokkande ya bay, they are all there. Domam bim jur ma mom over 1 week dañ lay nekk ci ala bi. We sleep on the floor together, we drink from the waters together, we do everything together. If time permits me, one day I will show you some pictorial of where we sleep, and I show you this is Ousainu's daughter. So that is a very wrong concept. Especially for us, because I cannot speak for other political parties, but for the UDP, no. In the struggle, 2016, 2018, when people were arrested, Yamadabo was arrested. She is the daughter of our political party leader, that is Hussein Oda. Yamadabo was arrested, detained, when she should even return to America. For Dabo, the same.
Okay.
Even among the victims, you had their names.
Yeah.
So basically, that is not an idea. That is not something that is applicable to UDP. If it is happening to other political parties, I'm sorry.
In this case, not only talking in Gambian context, in most cases, they feel about the problem ame so to time election. In la ne political leaders in ñom li gëna bari ñu leen di topa ndaw yi la ñoo sacrifice te ndaw yi ñoo ne ñi seen doom yi wala ci leen mbokay duñ ci dé jégué waye li gëna am solo rek moy ndaw yi tamit ñu xam seen bop xam lan lañ worth ci situation bi ak tamit rôle buñ wara play baña aggravate situation bi to a certain level bi nga xamantene bu lolu aré ñom ñoo ci gënal loru at the end of the day lu ci mënta am tamit leneen la waye indi na position UDP ñom ci seen système ak seen ñoo doxé ci walu ndaw yi ak tamit surtout ci ñu jégué ñu jité parti bi néna mom context bobu is completely different. We hope others que tamit nañ emulate
dama ci bëgg saani dara rek pour tenka wax bobu nonu ne concept bobu waxin bobu ak belief bobu nit yi dañ ko wara bay dama dee dégga wax boobu torop dañ leen a use o da ngeen a dimbale gaay maa koy nga barak
exactly
doomi aadama boo ji soo teekee am na ku la jàppale ba nga teeke te yow tamit soo bëggee tegi foo nga soxla ku la jàppale pour nga teeke yëfi politique ak yëfi réew is not jàppale ma teeke li la war la sa right la sa coober la war a nekk nga mun a génna di saay ku la war a jiite ko juróomi at bu nekk dañ la dee jox occasion pour yow nga mun a tànn ki nga bugg a mu jiite sa affaire yoree sa dépense yoree ni réew mi di doxee su dul loolu politique dafa am loo xam ne dafa garaaw si politique dinaa la ko wax tey soo bañee nekk si politique nga bañ a contribute si politique dina contribute si yow politique dina ñëw ba fekka la fi nga toog mu jaar sa kaw te doo ci mun dara
waaw loolu moom dafa am
solo soo soxlee dara mun loo ko am si réew mi da ngaa jooyantu yëfi président yëfi nguur su la dara jotee loo xam ne du yoon da ngaa joyantu yëfi démocratie yëfi loi soo soxlee dara da ngaa jaar place yoo xam ne soo ko amul nga ne nguur bi deful lii àlla ñan ñooy nguur yooyu government of the people by the people for the people nguur pour nit ak ñan ñoo ko fal nit pour nit yooyu so loolu kenn warut a toog di wax ne loolu dafa nekk loo xam ne da maa dimbale pour man ma tekki sa boppa nga dimbale
non waaye dimbale foog loo tamit fu ñoo waxee may dimbale gi pour nga tekki léegole li gën a bari political parties yi wala ñuy jiite ci réew Afrique surtout fii da ngay am na ñi nga xam dañ cee jàppa sacrifice def si soona si waaye bu ñu demee ba falu dañooy fàtte ñi leen jàppale dem ñoom ñu yóbbu seen bopp si beneen level
ñu jox la occasion boo xam ne 5 years bu nekk
foofu moom garaaw ñaaw
5 years bu nekk nga reflect lu tax ñu jox la 5 years mu nekk pour nga mun a xool gannaaw nga seet ndax yow ki nga fal li nga ko wax loolu la doxal ndax da nga ko jàppale pour moom kenn mu tekki ndax yéen yëpp ngeen tekki su nekkee bi nga ko jàppale pour yéen yëpp ngeen tekki mu bàyyi loolu moom kenn mu tekki fooli ko nga teg ko foo xam ne nga seetaat ko loolu tax ñu am democratic process boobu juróomi at bu nekk ku nekk nga am occasion pour mun a reflect sentu waat li nga taanoon ndax baax na lii mooy coow bi suñ problème bi ak Barrow yëpp lii la yow da ngaa lekka sa aduna mu ngi kuul ñu la fal seen aduna kuulul léegi di baa ngi jot Gambia seen affaire a ngi nii seen jéew baa ngi nii cin bokku safin dooma yekkal duma la yekkal moom su nekkee yekkam neex na yow sa bos neexul lan moo ko génne fii karta 4 December nga jox ko ki nga yaakaar fooli ko because doxalin bi neexut la lii mooy élection
exactly xam nga wax nga président bi te boobu Gambien si ñoo ko fal of course boobu élection waaye am na yeneen place yi nga xamante ne tamit élection bi waaye soo seetee moo trend bi benn la rek ci ku ñëw fal buñ la falee da ngay gis kuy struggle balaa ñu koo fal waaye buñ ko falee with his short space of time he's a different person moto yu moo dawal fu moo dëkka ak ñu ko fal ñu leen di rombee so difference boobu nit ñi loolu la ñoo dunda dañoo wax ne da nga dimbale ma tekki la
loolu
yaa ngi wax ne ñu bàyyi ñu di ko wax waaye pour ñu bàyyi ko du yoon
life soo deful loolu sa kër sa si sëy sa politique moo ko doxal si biir kër yaa sa jabar yaa sa doom yi si biir kër politique a koo doxal
waaw
li ma wax mooy ne sa doom su defee naka sa du noonu yow yaa ko jur sax taxut ne ni nga ko jur nga ne because of yow mu ngi def lii next time affaire am su ñëwee doo si participer déedéet maire boobu ak géeda boobu moo dee isi yaahu yu ñu am yëpp si dëkk bi fii nii maire bi ak li nga moom nga géeda ko kenn du géeda li nga moom
loolu moom
da nga saanil nit karta am nga juróomi at pour nga seet li moo def su la doyut nga ne kon kii lii la tax moo doon saani kata loolu tax ma ne Barrow kon moom bu mu ñëwee mu dignity kon diggut Gambian si lu mu war a def yëpp moom lu mu añaanoon Yaya Jammeh mooy place Yaya Jammeh doole bu Yaya Jammeh am moto yu rafet yu moo dawal ak kiram bu rafet bu ñu am bi ko su dul loolu gisuñ dara loo tax ñu saanil Barrow kata li mu def anamu no reform no development léegi la dunda bi gën a seet si réew mi dan time Yaya Jammeh léegi la askan bi gën a ñaaka am security dan time Yaya Jammeh ba ñoo dem ñu gis ñoo xam ne dañoo attaque police stations ak security men foofu la ñaaka tas yaakaar
léegi
si security am si
fine léegi dugal nga si foofu sax kon
lopitaan bi amul garab léegi glove sax doo ko am
fine léegi
xanaa Barrow nag ñun fan lañ jëm xanaa silmaxa ak ku te ak ku xam ne sa boppa bi doxut weroo moo war a mën a jël kartam saanil ko bar non du Barrow moom opération Barrow mos bi yank
non waaye gis nga nag MPP gaa ngee toppa si seen gannaaw loolu waaye loolu ñooñu bari bala la ñoo jàppale ci cap bi lañ nekk soo loolu gis nga ne parti bi léegi yéen ak ñoom yéen a nekk di same level di diirante gaay mbaggaag yu mel noonu loolu yow
parti bu amut congrès ñun di dee diirante ñooñu wax naa la ko fii bul dee wa diir ba tey ñun xam nga war nañ suñu standard bi
waaw
doy am nañ seen bos Citizens Alliance xam nañ seen bos NPP kan mooy seen standard bi
waxaguñ ko de waaye yow
duñ ko wax bi ko wax naa la benn wax fii ma ne la Gambia be your own judge Barrow is an independent presidential candidate su buggee mu ne ñëw on the NPP ticket naka lam koo defee ndax dafa resign as president of the republic because loi bi ndax dina la may boobu
waa léegi
cër pour yow nga nekk independent elected president amuloo political party nga war a génn si independence political party boobu ñëw si political party boo xam ne nga ne yaa ko moom o yaa ko foom si naan ban anam ngay jaare ak luwaa ban tenka moo nekk si luwaa ban bunta moo la ko may so lii mooy $1 million question lu NPP di xalaat parti bu amaangut
da ngeen di sóoraale loolu xanaa
parti bu amaangut manifesto
yéen a ngi seetaan
déedéet ñun koo bàyyi xel seetaanuñ ko man mi Gambian citizen la am naa right pour xalaat loolu reflect ko an independent elected president su resignut naka la moo ñëwee ron under another political party's ticket ndax luwaa may na la boobu yoon ndax may na la bunta bi tënkakati luwaa yi ak interpretation yi
luwaa bu ko may mu form all political party est-ce que du luwaa boobu moo koy may bu fekkee
luwaa may na la nga register political party waaye even on that list you are not the leader understand loo par statement dañ dee dégg ne Adam Barrow moom NPP moom mooy leader NPP waaye when you come to the legality of NPP NPP as a political party is registered fine but who is the leader on the document who did they present as an interim leader because it cannot be Adam Barrow it can't be so nañ xalaat foofu bu baax lii $1 million question la NPP nañ xalaat loolu parti bi amaangu leen manifesto man waxuma ko seen surrogates yi ñoo dee toog di discourage di wax ne
UDP foofu lañ bëgg foog ngeen bëgg
ñun passé nañ foofu
pour bañ a daje ak Barrow si
dégguloo li ma laa wane
seen stand ak biara ba sa
déglu ma waaw ñun passé nañ foofu
da ngeen nekk di sóoraale ñaawur li ngay wax
déedéet xam nga dafa nekk loo xam ne man doomi réew laa
waaw
luy xew si réew mi dafa war a àndal luwaa Barrow moo gasal boppam pax mu dugal boppam bu mu ne
ci naka
Barrow bugul leen dem na leer
loolu kay waaw
non wax boobu dafa set Barrow bugul leen dem na leer léegi ñun luñ fi gis dañ bugga mu leer
lan moo leen dem
Barrow nu moo taxawee sax dafa leen dem loolu lañ bugga ñu leeral ñu ko mun a leeral ñu ko justice ministry ñu leeral ñu ko ak ñeneen ñoo xam ne ñu ngi si Barrow ñu ne dañ am xam-xam
waaye dégguma benn political party di contest ci loolu te ñu xam ne
ma déggul loo
waaw
you don't understand the word
no du yow laa wax xam nga non wax am na seen you are contesting maa wax mooy leer boobu yow yaa ngi sàkku pour mu leer
te mais bi am nga yow Amadou dégguloo soose waaye dinaa la wax benn laaka
soo waxee moom naa dégg
dinaa la wax benn yëf si soose
waaw
e ko moo place ñini ñaa amankuto naaɓe place ñino naye place o soto amankuto ni me hakkilo abukake kelente fulanjon kumo ko mune kumbondi mfo watole man si mfota mfo wato sita manfo o mfo wato tambita natafo kumo afo wato e ka fo wala
so al kawle bat
ni oke e kam makato bayle
so UDP ka wala bat
ntol ka kumo fo wato le bato kuma mfo kanam fo janni wato be sila hani tol buko bari nga kumo le foye mbe reflection wala mbe politiko kacalla mbe banko tamandi yala kacaka bari gambianol discourage tabaroto la fa pareta jata kande amanta tamaka jang hani wuli ya kaful manta tamaka mina asabu bankole be detari Kode buka soto mo la baluo man sona ya. Economic stability should be the cornerstone of every serious government's development agenda. Without that, there is no progressive development. Social justice breeds in peace. Peace will always breed in development.
Yeah, certainly.
But without that, there will be no development. This is the cycle of development.
Yeah,
it has to start with social stability. Social stability cannot be attained without economic stability. And economic stability cannot be attained when the prices of basic commodities and what people use on daily basis is skyrocketing in the country without no cap.
And you are blaming Barrow for that.
Blaming the government and the CEO, His Excellency Adama Barrow.
Okay, fine.
If I don't blame him, who should I blame? You, Amadou Kante
okay,
from
that's fine. Lolo
don't control the narrative.
The other issue, you talked about your flag bearer. Of course, you for the, the applications were open. This time I'm getting 4. But eventually, what every Gambian expected, Lolo more hell. There was not going to be any surprise. It was Honorable Dabo. He's going to be the flag bearer. So that was a formality. UDP living the applications are open and all that. So
we thank God for having a formality. We thank God we have advertised the post and people have applied. But other political parties, you've never had anybody apply. It's the old-fashioned way. And nobody is talking about
political parties that.
Though it did theirs, who and who applied.
Yeah, but
I'm asking. UDP did theirs. Yes, it's a formality. Fine. That is in accordance with the dictates of the UDP constitution and in line with the electoral laws of this country and so forth, bring it forth to the constitution.
Yeah, well,
we are always in line with the law. We do what the law depicts and what it dictates. Other political parties, they did theirs, but you didn't have any other candidate.
Yeah, they did their...
Let me tell you one thing.
The thing is,
we did. Now,
you did your whatever.
Let me make it simple.
Law, and others do theirs.
Now, what we tell you.
One for one, like all other
parties. We did it. You know, they know, and even us, we know.
That.
You said, they said.
Yes.
And everybody know that was going to be the final. Yeah. And even the Gambia should know that that is the final destination.
So why the need for applications?
Choice of the people.
Huh?
It's the choice of the people.
What people?
Democracy.
No, you know this is the outcome already. Why would you invite application people?
Democracy is not a dictatorship.
No, it's not about dictatorship.
Is what people want.
You know that if the party central committee has gone ahead and said, Honorable Dabo is going to reply the flag bearer, no one would contest that in UDP.
Nobody will contest it.
Yeah, can do go one day here. I want to. No,
so
you know that was hands down. No, that would little more than
Do you want people to be contested?
Contest what?
What the central committee decides?
No, like you said, you not to contest, but there was no one who would say no. I want to challenge Honorable Dabo.
If obviously everybody is open to application.
Yes.
3 people applied. That is telling you that they are also intending to contest, and they contested. That was the contest. That was the contest. They contested. In as much as they applied and their applications were taken, their names were read in the Central Committee meeting. 4 of them were excused from the meeting. The Central Committee selected Hussein Dabo. That was a contest. That was the application process. That is due process. That is normal process. That is good practice. That is democracy. The choice of the people and what people want. You cannot defeat that, my friend, anywhere. When the GOP in America or the Democrats are selecting their presidential candidate in their primaries, in the caucuses, who decides for them? Is it not the caucus? Now, if they say Donald J. Trump, it's Donald Trump. Yes. So if anybody feels ill will about that outside, it is not important because they are not GOP. They are not Republican. The United Democratic Party have their process, their internal modus operandi, and we follow that to the latter. We did what is very efficient, what is very in line with the dictates as per creed, and Hussein Dabo came out to be the ardent flag bearer. Now everybody is not complaining. Why should the people outside be complaining? It's our show, it's our candidate, we chose him unanimously. And that is, I was in the Central Committee meeting that day. We chose him unanimously. Not to say it's youth-based or it's biased. The youth were there, and the youth took the lead to endorse him. And then that is the end of the topic.
Okay, there you go. We will move on to another thing. And as you may know, Demba, or should I say, it was April 11 and April 10/11. Of course, the famous student massacre here on Nafi, and it sparked a lot of all these years. Just named Luhauchi, Tiara, CB, Actamid. Well, before that, Gambians, you bari wax nañ ci. But of course, the gis nañ victims, of course, génn nañ wax nañ ci. But along the political arena or field, UDP relengies ñu génne ci statement, if not the government. Seen party leader bi wax na ci ba di urge government bi today the foreign newspaper ñu ngi wax ne the government should prioritize Jammeh to justice. But first on the statement, naka nga gisee loolu so political party position on this mainly ngeen génne ci statement su naa wax ne yéen rek a ko def
fii Amadou ñun la ka def lu nekk loolu tam ma ne la if the omen is good, the decisions are good, this is called maturity, this is called patriotism, because some political parties are not interested in all what is happening to Gambians. It's only election and plus. That's why sometimes I call some of them briefcase political parties. It's just like a student massacre in a country where people died, some people get injured. They are irreparable injuries that psychologically, physically, some of them sustain. I was a victim too. I was a victim. I was arrested. I was beaten in the cells, detained in a military barracks. No justice was served. 2016, with the coming into of the so-called New Gambia, we expected this government to take that as their first major issue. But no, the people who perpetrated that are now friends of the president. The people who orchestrated that are now close to Mr. President. So the UDP taking the lead, as always, as usual, as normally we do, we will always condemn something that is against the Gambian people. That is patriotism. That is loving one's country. Not only election. We are not only interested in winning election. Win or not win, we see Gambia, as it happens in the constitutional dialogue, as it happens in issues pertaining to the bill when it was sent to the National Assembly, as it happens to the attack in Sanya, as it happens in Faraba, and all the incidences. Bring Jammeh to justice. We take the lead in all these things. We condemn it as it is. We say it as we see it.
Yeah, that's why it's reported on the, like I said before here this morning, that your party leader is saying, the government should prioritize that, Jammeh to justice.
It is a priority, my friend. All these human rights violations happen under hosting. All these human rights violations we're talking about was orchestrated and organized under the leadership of Jammeh. Now, if people are still, when you want to heal a nation, justice should be served. The people who are wrong should get justice. The people who wrong them should also bear the brunt of what they did, but not the other way around. The people who perpetuated all those crimes, heinous crimes against people and humanity are still enjoying. They are still riding, working in this system.
How about this one?
When do we expect that system to be reformed? When do we expect those people to be served? It is very hot. When somebody maltreated you some years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, you see the same guy in a uniform, he's riding a government vehicle, tinted government vehicle, he's serving in a higher office, and you are a victim. It is pain.
Okay, still on the same.
And when it is too painful, it accumulates and accumulates, and after it erupts like a volcano or a molten magma. Whenever it comes across anything, it will just burn you to ashes.
Okay, still on the same issue. I want to ask you
gathering firewood, gathering firewood in the conflict cycle. That's what the Barrow government is doing. They are gathering too much firewood, too many commissions, so much recommendations, no action.
No action. And of course, this is also
weak
part of the
weak leadership.
Yeah. How about this one? So your party is also talking about action because they have renewed, a call for a declaration of a national matters day to honor the victims of the April 10/11.
April 10/11, April 14 also, when Solo Sando was brutally murdered. When all political parties agreed to come out that day, some political leaders, they boycotted that event and they left him out there. They are the catalyst. Nobody will tell you and nobody can deny that. Wherever there is a change, there is a catalyst or there is a reason. And the catalyst for change is Solo Sandeng and Ko Nogonya and the other people around who were arrested, put their lives on the line. Some lost their lives Immediately after the change, they couldn't even survive. They are dying gradually. They are not even taken care of medically by the government. So that day should be etched in the annals of Gambian history.
Yeah, indeed.
That these students were massacred. When when those days come, we commemorate them, we remember them. It will also serve as a deterrent to other people who will even think of doing such things against students anymore. Or somebody, or any government will think of doing that to civilians who are out there just to call for reforms and changes. At the centerpiece of that reform is electoral reform. That electoral reform brought about the change because among the key points in the electoral reform is spot counting. And everybody will attest to that spot counting brought about the change.
Yeah.
So with that, those are the catalysts. All those people should be remembered. They are gallant heroes of our homeland, the Gambia. But no, it is not happening that way. It is happening the other way around. The people who perpetuated those heinous crimes against people are still enjoying. They are serving in high offices of authority. Some of them are permanent secretaries. Some of them are state ministers. Some of them are still serving in our
But don't you think also these are processes being a time? And
process
the government
should not take more than 24 months. Any serious government.
These are delicate matters.
Amadou, any serious government.
So sometimes
any serious government that comes into power after 24 months, you cannot kickstart any reform that is a failed government. Because there are key principles that brought them into office. It is not about infrastructural development. It is about democratization, reforms, institutional, democratic reform, security sector reform. Those are key.
Okay.
Those sectors, when you reform them, you will have a viable economy. Because if the people who are trusting you with their cards or with their votes are served, they will have trust in what you do next. But if it is otherwise, all these tantrums in town, all the rumor, all the noise, all the complaints about this thing.
Okay.
Because they left the path that brought them into office, they chose another path that was not even in their plans.
Okay.
Barrow Bugulendem is the bait. Barrow took that. He thought that was just something by saying, and he's making people angry. No, it's a bait for Barrow. Barrow bugul lendem na leer, everything should be clear.
Yeah,
the
but
deals,
like I said,
the contracts under the table, what happens to people, the security.
You are insinuating that.
I'm not insinuating anything.
Contract
from the Banjul project.
Contract under what table?
From the Banjul project
but anyway.
to the COVID-19 supply of rice, to all these other contracts, even the black sign, are all under the carpet. It is not publicly known. Nobody will tell you how it comes, how it was given, and how it was run, or how it was managed. It is given to people under the carpet.
So with
syndicates,
finally, with UDP government coming, that will be history. We'll have a new direction.
Inshallah, by December 5th. The Gambian people, I know how loving they are. They love themselves.
We'll have another new Gambia?
We'll have another new Gambia. The Gambia that we all yearn for. Inshallah, December 5th, under the leadership of His Excellency.
Thank you.
Lawyer Usainu Numukunda Dabo.
All right.
The Gambia will have a direction.
Thank you.
You know, patriotism for him is not going to be questioned. His capacity as an intellectual will not be questioned. His love for country will not be questioned.
Okay.
If everybody will wish well for this country.
All right. Thank you very much, Nyawuru Koma. Of course, we would continue the discussion. You know, as we get to the elections, you know, thank you very much for coming.
But you forgot that there's something going on. We have some internet-based agriculture that is initiated by the president, even in the most civilized democracies.
Yeah, we'll discuss that
I've
next
never
time.
seen a Wi-Fi pumping and wetting gardens. Barrow should not take us for fools.
We will do that.
Our normal internet is not even correct. How can you bring Wi-Fi to pump and spray gardens all over, water gardens in Mankamangunda?
Thank you, Nyawuru. Thank you.
Please let him leave this cricket business.
We will do that.
Or it will become his name.
Next time we will discuss that and other issues. Thank you very much. You know, like he says, we will see what happens here against December 4th. Of course, the next day after December 4th will be on December 5th. And like he said, you know, if UDP...
When you call me, I'll be at Sarah House, God willing, inshallah.
All right, thank you very much. Whether UDP or if UDP wins weeks, then he says there will be New Gambia, another New Gambia, right? Because there's already a New Gambia. So whatever, but it's a New Gambia. So that's it. Thank you very much, Nyauru, for coming, and once again, happy Ramadans in advance to you and to all that are watching. We'll be back tomorrow, inshallah, of course, in another discussion, same as always we do, and we bring you some very relevant matters of interest, of national interest, and all that. We discuss it to make sure that we move on as a country till we meet tomorrow, inshallah, God willing. Thank you very much for watching. Well, mbokk yi jërë ngeen jëf fii la ñu yemade ak yéen tey suñ gan gi di Ñaawuru Koma ñu ngi ko gërëm bu baax moom lañ dalaloon tey. inshallah suba ñu dellusiwaat ci beneen édition ci kër gi fi ak boobu rek ñaanal leen jàmm di leen wax jërë ngeen jëfati ci safo bi ak ci kóolute bi. Thank you very much. Bye bye.
naa ñëw xool si sa tabax gi.
loolu nag kontaan naa si bu baax.
seen nag yow kontaan nga waaye man kontaanuma ndax bul fàtte ne man ak yow ñoo bokkoon nekk bitim réew ma yónnee xaalis bu bëri pour ñu sampal ma suma néeg waaye bi ma ñëwee ba agsi la ma fa fekk sama xol neexut parce que tabax gi àggut fen tax xaalis bu bëri laa ci ñàkk. yow nag bi ma waxee ne da ngay samp ak léegi yàggut dara.
non yàggut.
tey ma ñëw gis sa tabax gi toll fii car macha allah seen lan mooy sa secret.
Touré man suma secret mooy baluwo.
baluwo kon su ma la déggee baluwo dañuy yëngu tamit ci wàllu samp.
waaw.
ni ngay def nag yomb na da ngay log on to www.baluwo.com mun ngaa jënd ci ñoom ciment suuf banta weñ ba ci daaj yi nga xam ne di nga ko soxla lépp lu jëm ci wàllu samp rek mun nga koo am ci lu yomba ak baluwo daal yaay dugal sa xaalis fi nga ko bëgga amee ko ci ni nga ko bëggee.
biri naata ñin su kono fo say mankay rosuro ni musa ni nga fen fen faya ko ni mbabe diamula ni nga fen fen faya ko ni mbabe diamula hani kasdi ka kacha fo ngom buka suto ala no bar bi nana ta ba fo nanyele fa bala be sida ni su kono fontel bi so
Maaleykum salaam.
Musa mbatatale ni batu